What is up, my friends? Merry Christmas Eve to each and every one of you. I hope you have a wonderful couple of days planned, and as always, thank you so much for coming and joining me tonight for a Christmas Eve chat. We are, of course, going to discuss the potential transfer business for the Reds. We're going to look ahead to the game against Wolves, and of course, we'll have a little bit of fun tonight as well. Whatever it is you want to discuss, please do let me know. I noticed in the chat real quick just before we went live that Scotty Boy had said that his dog had passed away. Scotty, sending you love, my friend. I know how difficult it is to lose a pet, as do many others in the chat. And our love and best wishes are with you, bro. And condolences on the passing of your faithful friend. Right, folks, how we doing? I do have a poll running in the chat nice and early for you, asking would you take Karim Adeyemi for 20 million quid, as he has been tipped with a potential move to the Reds. We'll talk Bradley Barcola. We'll talk about the youngster from Midfield as well. We'll have a little discussion around what's happening with Isak and his return, and of course lots more. Thank you to Connor as well, who put out a video this morning. Really do appreciate him jumping on and getting those early morning videos out, because of course, you know, I'm not getting up that early to do anything. So yes, to all of you in the chat, each and every one of you, thank you for being with us, and happy Christmas to you all. I can't respond to everybody individually, but of course we do wish you all a wonderful holiday season. Somebody said Oscar Bob in the chat. Now, I know that there have been links for Oscar Bob with a move away from Manchester City, and with them looking to bring in Antoine Semenyo, that's it's not out of the question. Of course, they're going to move somebody on. But my understanding, and feel free to ask journalists this, or you know, any other platform that you watch videos on, my understanding is that Manchester City just won't sell a footballer to Liverpool. That's pretty much as I understand it, the way it is. And it all goes back to that piece, I believe, from Sam Maguire that talked about Diaz wanting to go to Diaz wanting to go to City last year, and we were open to that if we could, you know, try to get one of their players. In this case, it was Julian Alvarez, and we were told that they wouldn't sell to us, which is weird because they sell to Chelsea, they'll sell to Arsenal, they'll sell to others. But yeah, nothing there with regards to Liverpool and Oscar Bob, unless something dramatically changes. George Edwards said, "Hey Craig, Merry Christmas to you in the chat. Have you seen Adeyemi's injury record? It's not good." No, I haven't. To be honest, mate, I haven't. Here, I've got a question for you. I know different parts of the world, in Europe in particular, celebrate Christmas at different moments. So I know in Germany, Christmas Eve is kind of the more Christmassy night. I remember in Spain when I was over there before, they tended to celebrate more on Christmas Eve. So as our kids have gotten older, we've always done the presents on Christmas Eve. So our Christmas present stuff is all done and out of the way. I just wondered if other people are the same, or what way you guys do with your family. Obviously, if you've got young kids and Santa Claus has to come, very different scenario, of course, but my youngest is 13, going to be 14 next month, so we can get them out of the way a little bit early, which means we can have a lie-in. And that's the best part of Christmas for me. Do you remember the old days, up 6:30, 7 a.m. in the morning, putting stuff together, wondering if you have enough batteries, all that kind of stress? Christmas is very easy going for me these days. We go up to the mother-in-law's for Christmas Day dinner, so I don't even have to do any cooking, and it's brilliant. The real Johnny Sin said, just necked 4 mince pies. Merry Christmas, everyone. Good man. Get them into you. Nothing wrong with it. I hope they were warm, though. You know, you got to warm up them Christmas pies, mate, or the mince pies, to get that true flavour out. Where have we got? Oscar Bob, a great talent. Thanks for replying. He is, no doubt about that. It's just never been a case that I'm aware of the City are willing to do any business with us, so unfortunately. So let's see what people are saying. Merry Christmas, Craig. Unfortunately, I have to work. That's the life of healthcare. I understand that. I've worked a few Christmases myself over the years. I'm not a big Christmas person. December for me, as I've explained before, it's a really tough month, going back for a long time. So I'm always relieved when Christmas is out of the way, but it's nice to just take a day or two to chill. I will be streaming tomorrow night, by the way, with a Christmas night agenda, so do join me for that. We'll have lots of fun. Right, so let's see what you guys do presents-wise. Presents on Christmas, said George. Just finished opening our presents about 10 minutes ago. We in the Czech Republic celebrate on the 24th. I believe the same in Poland and Germany too. Keane said, we do family presents on Christmas Eve and Santa presents Christmas morning. That makes a load of sense as well, mate. Yeah, absolutely. Do you know what I've always been very jealous of for our friends in the UK? We call it St. Stephen's Day. You guys call it Boxing Day. But I've always been really jealous on Christmas Day as well that you guys can go to the boozer on Christmas Day and, you know, get yourself a Christmas dinner in the pub. I would have loved to have been able to do that over the years. You know, not have any of the hassle. Go to a pub or a local restaurant or whatever for Christmas Day dinner. That would have been right up my street, because the stress, the mess, and the hassle of cooking Christmas dinner. You know, you always see people as well going around the supermarkets, and you'd swear that they were closing down for a month with the amount of stuff people are getting. Orthodox Christmas, it's January the 7th. Thank you, my friend, for that. I had a Chinese takeaway tonight, said George. Nice. My wife and my son went and got a McDonald's. So, yeah, they had a McDonald's Christmas Eve. They wanted their Grinch fries and stuff like that. So I don't really eat fast food like that. So I'm going to have my dinner a bit later on. Semenyo, imagine choosing Man City. Well, the thing is, he's going to Man City by the looks of it. No arguing about that. But we don't know. We don't know how that situation played out. Like, if Liverpool decided in November that they weren't going to make a move, then it was kind of down to Manchester United, Manchester City, or Spurs. I know Chelsea came in late, but that interest seemed to go away very quickly. And if you look at those three options, I mean, you could make an argument at Spurs, I guess, but I don't know. I just wonder, will he get enough game time, or how his career will develop at Manchester City? Because even looking at back pages tonight, I think it was Martin Ziegler of the Times speaking about it, and again, kind of questioning if that is going to be the right move to continue on with Semenyo's development. But, you know, either way, it's his career, it's his decision, and we'll see what happens with it. Going to the beach on Christmas Day would be sick. Yeah, I mean, I remember I was in Lanzarote one Christmas. Oh, God. I was probably 17 or 18 at the time. And I remember it feeling really weird, like, to be in a warm environment at around Christmas time. So any of our friends in Australia or New Zealand or anything like that, I wonder, yeah, what's it like celebrating Christmas at a warm time? It must be a weird one, because for us it's always cold, and, you know, the heating's on in the house, and the smells in the kitchen of the cooking, and bits of sweet wrappers all over the shop. That mean guy said, Christmas Day for us, managed to get my younger brother a PS5 for his main item. That's awesome. That's so class, my man. So Lucas got his presents about 2 hours ago. And I pulled a blinder with him. Oh, do you want me to? Look, you think I'm a made up shithouse? This is how much of a shithouse I am, even to my own son. So Lucas knew he was getting certain things. So we asked, could he have an electric guitar and an amp? Because he's been taking guitar lessons for the last few months. He has an acoustic guitar. He has a bass guitar. So we wanted an electric guitar and an amp. So that was cool. So we got him those. We got him a few other little bits and pieces. But we got him an iPhone 17. And we also got him a case for the iPhone 17. But what I made Sabrina do was give him the case first. And he opened it. And he looked at the case. And he went, oh, this is the wrong case, Dad. I have an iPhone 15. You got me a case for an iPhone 17. And of course, I looked at my wife then and said, oh my God, Sabrina, how have you done that? And he said, this is how much I love my little kid. He turned around and said, Daddy, it's okay. Don't worry about it. And then I said, there's only one solution for that then, Lucas, isn't it? And then we just handed him the iPhone 17 and it all made sense to him. But yeah, I loved it because I loved how gracious he was in that little moment as well. So yeah, I couldn't not shithouse him. Even on Christmas, he had to be wound up a little bit. I'm in Texas right now and it kind of sucks. I'd feel like Jerome. That's a classic line to family members. Oh, it's got to be done, man. It's got to be done. Hey, Craig, have you ever tried rakia? I can't say I have, my friend. No. Don't know. Never even heard of it, to be honest with you. If it's a dessert, though, sign me up. I'm always open to trying desserts, lads. Always. quality. And I know I can't help it, but he always takes it with such grace because, you know, I'm raising my son to be a savage. And I don't mean a savage like daddy with the belly. I mean, just so he knows what banter is when he goes out into the world, you know. The Honest Tiger, how are we, sir? Hey, Craig, I wish my second favourite YouTuber after Adam a happy Christmas. Second favourite! Second bloody favourite! How dare you? How dare... I'm only joking, my man. I was happy to be proud to be able to help Adam get cracking and get his own YouTube channel going. So proud to see how well he's doing as well. Anyway, you said after Adam, happy Christmas to you and your family. Thanks for all the fun, banter. Looking forward to more after Boxing Day. All the best for 2026. And to you and your family as well, mate. Thank you. Appreciate you. And look, Adam's a great YouTuber. I was only having a joke with you. Craig, what's your thing on a Christmas dinner? So, I'm a basic bitch. I just want ham, potatoes, and beans. That's it. You know, I'm not mad on turkey, so I'm not fussed. But give me nice Christmas ham, roast potatoes, mashed potatoes, and some baked beans, and I'm a happy camper. The weird part for me, though, on Christmas is eating so early. Because I think our dinner's going to be about 4 o'clock tomorrow, and I normally eat at about midnight or 11 p.m. So, yeah, but apart from that, all good. The three-striped liverbird. Merry Christmas to you, Craig, Connor, and your families. My dad died of cancer last Saturday, and you guys have been my go-to. Help me keep me mind off a difficult time. You guys and your channel mean so much to me. Thanks, AA. I'm so sorry to hear of the passing of your father, and may he rest in peace. And I'm sure you've got lots of wonderful memories of your times together. I've mentioned before, mate, about December being a tough time for me. It's when my dad died. It's when my mum was in an overdose after painkillers. I crashed my car and wrote it off at Christmas. My uncle passed away in an accident on Christmas. And then this week, my uncle and my godfather passed away as well this week. So I totally understand it. It's a tough time. But I know how much you guys helped me through all of my stuff, and to hear that our community in any way has helped you, and even a small bit to take your mind off it, bro, thank you. But we are here if you ever do need anything. Don't be afraid to talk. Don't be afraid to open up. And may your father rest in peace, and we're sending you all of our love. David, so Merry Christmas to you and your family. All the best for the new year. What do I think about Bastoni to Liverpool? I'm a little bit excited about it, to be honest with you. So let me read through the Bastoni story. As I do most days, I kind of go through as much of the newspaper stuff as I can. And there's a story from Footy Insider, and let me read this out to you. It said, Liverpool are keeping an eye on Inter and Italy centre-back Alessandro Bastoni, according to a new claim from scout Mick Brown. Now, if I remember correctly, and correct me on this if I am wrong, I think Mick Brown used to be a scout for Everton back in the day. But again, you can check that at your own leisure. Speaking to Football Insider, he said, Bastoni is a player I've always been a big admirer of. He's a fantastic defender and has been brilliant for Inter Milan for a long period of time now. So it's no surprise these types of clubs are looking at him. Liverpool have been keeping a close eye on him because they see him as somebody who would be an improvement on what they've got at the club at the moment. He'd be a great asset to any club, and one I would certainly recommend that they go for. They're not sure what's happening with Canade. That's still very much up in the air, and Van Dijk hasn't looked like his usual dominant self this season. So it's the type of deal Liverpool have been considering because they have to be prepared for any possibility. Now, I'd love that to be the case. Love that to be the case for Liverpool to be in the mix for Alessandro Bastoni. So let's wait and see. You know, I don't have anything I can add to the conversation with regards to reliability of it or the possibility of it. I don't know anything on it. But more and more people are coming out again now to talk about this potential gentleman's agreement between Liverpool and MACCA. So Lewis Steele intimated about it this week. Cave Solakol believes that, again, he thinks that there is that gentleman's agreement. But I told you guys that a month ago at this point, that my understanding was that there was a gentleman's agreement between Gay and Liverpool that he would come. But I just don't know when that was going to be. So again, Anfield Agenda viewers will remember they got that before anybody else. But again, we do appreciate you sticking with us as well, because anybody who's watched our transfer coverage over the last few years will know that we've gotten things that we say, like not reading out other people's work, but things that I tell you I've heard directly, more often than not have come true. The Bellingham situation is obviously the big one that changed, and I've explained at many of my live shows why that situation changed. But apart from that, most of the stuff that we've said is going to happen has happened, especially in the summer with the Vert situation and things like that. So, I hope again that this one plays out the way we wanted to and we get Mark A. But a lot of the reports are tending to suggest that summer is more likely for that situation to be resolved. Now, if you look at the fact that Richard, one of the centre-backs at Crystal Palace, picked up, at least I know it's a nasty gash and cut on his leg. I don't know what they're going to be like now for January, whether they're going to be short of defenders even more so, and if there's any possibility to get Mark A out. So, I don't know on that one exactly on the timing. But what I do know is we need a bloody centre-back. We need one soon. Arthur said, I'm still stuck on Schlotterbeck. Boy, can he pass. Look, I can't say anything on Nico Schlotterbeck because I don't have any information personally, one way or the other, to know about it. All I can say is when I've read up a little bit on him, and again, it is just a little bit, a lot of the stuff suggested that if he does leave Dortmund, it's potentially a 50 million euro move to Bayern Munich. But again, you're not the first, you won't be the last Liverpool fan that said to me that Nico Schlotterbeck would be a fantastic addition. And from what I've read about him, and again, don't know all that much, the word leadership keeps coming up quite a bit with him. And that's exactly what Liverpool should be looking for here. Because Virgil won't be here forever. Canade, whatever he does or doesn't do, I don't see him as a real leader out there on the pitch. So the types of Mark A, Nico Schlotterbeck, Alessandro Bastoni, they're the type of guys that I would say could lead a defence. So let's wait and see. Did somebody say Connor was in the chat? Did I see Connor in the chat, or am I making that up? I see it, because there's Paddy Wacker asking that Connor received the email. Like I said to you the other day, Paddy Wacker, mate, I don't deal with any of the emails anymore. So what that comes in, Connor sifts through them and then sends them my way. No, like Eli said, mate, we maybe sign one player in January. I don't know, mate. We had a poll on it last night, and most people think we need two, or maybe that was the night before. But for me, I'm relaxed on the forward situation, but I do think we need a centre back badly. And if we don't get a centre back, I'm not going to lie, I'm not going to be in one bit pleased, not one bit. Somebody said something in a comment last night, which was a fair comment, and I guess I wanted to address it. So somebody in the comments of one of the videos or the clips that we put out yesterday said, I remember you saying, I like Arna as a man, I like Arna as a coach. And that person's absolutely right, by the way. And I said it to them in the comment, they're absolutely right. I did say it. I said it when he was coming to the club. I said it when he joined the club. But this year, like I've said about opinions before, my opinion is shifting in a big way. And my opinion on Slot right now is, as a man, I'm sure he's still a good man. As a coach, I have serious questions. And some of the waffle that he's been coming out with in press conferences is infuriating me. But it baffles me that people don't understand opinions can change. And they don't have to be the same all the time. A very simple one. You start going out with a girl or a boy. You like that girl or boy. But over time, you drift apart a bit. You find out a couple more things about that person that maybe doesn't suit you, or you don't suit them. And the relationship changes. Same as anything else. Football relationships, they change. You might love a player one moment, they do something stupid, and that could boil your blood. But with Arna, it's the treatment of Chiesa. It's the lacking of bringing through Rio. It's the way that he's pulled the team apart and given us a style and a formation and a setup that I think is boring. And these are the reasons why my opinion there has changed. That and, of course, the historically shite run of results that we went through for a while. Have a lovely crimbo, lad. Keep up the good work. Thank you. Yes, Andres. Same to you, my friend. Appreciate your support. Craig, Ivan Toney could be eyeing a return to the Premiership. No Jurgen rated him. Would you take a chance if possible? I wouldn't. And here's why, Mark. I don't want Liverpool bringing in another striker because I don't think we need to sign another striker. We could do with somebody that can play on either side, but I don't think we need a striker. We'll probably have an 8 to 10 week situation with Isak before he's back. Jadon Danns is now on the grass doing some training. If Gakpo and Salah, when Salah comes back from AFCON, he could be utilised as a second forward if needs be. So I just don't think we have a need for one. Like, let's imagine a situation where we signed Ivan Toney and then Isak's back. You're left with Ivan Toney, Isak and Hugo Ekitike. That's just too many centre forwards. Barry Anderson said, Merry Christmas to you and all the AA family. Thank you, bro. Right back to you as well. Merry Christmas to you and yours. Double line said, I hear Camavinga in January, low price due to injuries. Look, I love Camavinga as a footballer, but if we're talking about somebody with a lot of injuries, that isn't going to be much use to us, is it? Because, robustness, particularly in the Premier League, is what Liverpool need. Like, we sit here and we talk about all the great things Mohamed Salah has done since he's been at the club, but his durability and his lack of injuries are one of the big factors in why Mo has been so important. Of course, his goals, his assists, his all-around play, that as well. But his durability is incredible. So, bringing in Camavinga would be good, but last thing we need to do is bring in another player and not be able to get into a rhythm in a midfield if he has injuries and he's in and out or in and out. But I do like him as a footballer. Would I take Origi back? Absolutely not. It would just, again, be stupidity. If his contract's been terminated by AC Milan and he's therefore not good enough to work or get in the game at AC Milan, why would we bring him back to Liverpool? Divock had some wonderful and gave us all some incredible moments. But no, those days are well and truly past. And like I said, I don't think we need a centre forward. His slot ball is dog shit to watch, and if you're going to play slot ball, you need to have a strong defence. No? Reckon we should activate Kwanzaa's release clause. So I don't know the exact ins and outs of that contract, but my understanding is that it doesn't come into effect for at least a year, potentially 2, but journalists would have a better understanding of that than I do. I'm just working off memory. So I don't think there's any way you can trigger the release clause for Kwanzaa in January. I think it would have to be, as I said, at least 1 year at Leverkusen, maybe 2. But it will be done. I really do believe it will be triggered at some point in the future and that he will come back to Liverpool Football Club, especially if he keeps progressing and playing at Leverkusen. Double L line said, have a great crimbo, my favourite YouTuber. Thank you, mate. Thank you. I had a big soul search last night where I sat down and I thought about my own future a lot yesterday. Spoke with the missus and stuff about it. Spoke about our future plans in life together as a family and stuff like that. What to say? Let me have a think on what I want to answer that way before I come in, because I want to word it in a way that you don't feel like I'm saying I'm quitting, because that's not what I'm trying to say. So just let me think on this for a minute and I'll come back to give you the reply I was hoping to. Nessie, Merry Christmas to you and the AA family, and right back to you, my friends. So here's something for you guys. I have, was it this one? Yes, I have made contact with Cortown Hibs today to inquire about the possibility of doing what you guys suggested last night. So here's what I'm thinking we may be able to do. So someone asked, could they buy that jersey? And that's a jersey that we sponsor a local team with. So I reached out to one of the people at the club, gave them a rough idea of what we were trying to do. And here's what we're thinking of. We don't know the number yet because we'd have to wait and find the individual cost. But what we're thinking of doing is getting 50, a limited edition run of, let's say, 50 of those shirts made. We'll take pre-orders for it so everybody can have their size. And as part of the package, we're going to have a card signed for myself and Connor. So as a thank you for obviously supporting our community. And we're going to put something else in, let's say an Anfield Agenda laptop sticker or another little small bit and pieces. And any of the profits that come from the sale of the shirt will be going straight back into the football club to help, buy more footballs, buy more training gear, and help the kids continue their development in football. On top of that, if it's successful and if it's something that you guys like and it works, we may do a run every year when we buy a new kit for another age group. We may do a similar thing each year because they have different kits. They've blue kits, they've black kits, they've blue and black kits. So we may do a limited run every year of 50 of them. So again, we'll gauge your interest once we find out the exact price of it. But Anfield Agenda and me, we won't be seeing a penny of this. Any profit from it would go straight back into Cortown Hibs for the kids. Right. Black Prince said Slot is a big liar. When he just came and said he plays similarly to Klopp and now he's employing his own tactics, we can all see his boring crap. Well, so he didn't necessarily come in and say he was similar to Klopp. I think if we're being frank about it, I think the data that the recruitment team looked at suggested that it wasn't too much of a change from Klopp, 4-3-3 system, high press and stuff like that. But you're not wrong about the rest of what you've said, mate. It has been very far removed from what we thought and what we were maybe expecting coming in. And I just don't like the way we play under him. I just don't find it an appealing style of football. What size do I wear? XL/2XL, depending on the top. So XL/2XL personally. But the jersey that I have, the one that they presented me, that's getting framed up and put in the office. Stevie Boy said, preparing myself to watch Liverpool play more tranquilizing football. Sunday, 2 a.m. in the morning. Well, look, surely with this one, and I recorded the preview earlier on for the Wolves game, so that's coming out on Christmas morning. Surely there's no sticky points in this one, though, Stevie Boy. Like, whatever 11 is put out there, we are playing a team absolutely devoid of confidence. 2 points, I think, all season. And it should be a straightforward day at the office. It just should be. So, if we don't win this game very easily, and I mean by 2, 3, 4, we got to have a long, hard look at ourselves. I know that sounds a bit entitled and arrogant, but Wolves are not in a great place. They're all over the shop. And this should be a given that we go and get the result. And I think if my memory's right, Chelsea are playing Villa. So somebody there is dropping points. So we have an opportunity to push ourselves into that top 4 position if, let's say, it's a draw between Chelsea and Villa or something like that. Adeyemi is full chaos, no end product, a second Barcola. So again, I'm not 100% sold on the idea of Adeyemi, but at 20 million quid, it's an option. If you got game time at 20 million quid, he's an option. So Patrick Berger said Liverpool are considering a January move for Borussia Dortmund forward Karim Adeyemi. Initial contact has already been made with the 23-year-old's representatives, and sources indicate Dortmund would consider offers in the region of 20 million. Adeyemi is viewed internally as a potential option to strengthen Liverpool's attacking depth midway through the season. I reckon if we brought in Adeyemi, that would be bye-bye Fede Chiesa, personally. And again, this isn't a I don't like Chiesa, you don't like Chiesa. This is a we know what the manager's situation with Chiesa has been. But like everybody else, yeah, Adeyemi wouldn't be anywhere near the top of my list of priorities. It would feel like a bit of a stopgap signing more than anything. Double L Line said, if you stop streaming, my hygiene goes out the window. When my missus asks me if I'm having my bath tonight, my answer is always, yeah, when Craig is on. I don't know if I should be taking that in a kind of, you want a sensual moment in the bathtub with my voice in the background. Either way, it's all good. It's all good, bro. No judgment. But, yeah, there you go. You be you. I grew up in a house that only had a bath. We didn't have a shower. We had a shower head that was, for washing your hair, but I never had a day-to-day shower until I moved into my own place, and we actually have a shower. Like, it was always a bathtub, and you're praying there was enough hot water and all that kind of crap. So yeah, I grew up as a bath person, and now I'm definitely 100% a shower person. And I'll say this as well. It doesn't apply to women. But I'm not having it, because some of you are going to say you don't do it. I'm not having it that you don't piss in the shower. I'm not having it. You telling me you're standing there in the shower and you're, going through your routine, and you don't think, oh, I need to pee, and you don't think, well, plug hole's right there. It's a game. You can aim it. It's a game. Aim it right into that plug hole. And, anybody who tells you as a man that they don't do that, I don't believe you. Gotta piss in the shower. Come on. Gotta piss in the shower. If you don't do that, I don't believe you. So apparently Omar Marmoush is on 350k a week. I have no idea what his wages are, but going back to the whole Man City situation, I don't think they'd sell to us. So I think we can rule out any of their players. Merry Christmas to you and the family, mate. I think we need a centre-back and a DM more than a forward. I still think we could be effective in a 4-3-1-2 formation with full-backs providing width. I'm right with you with regards to the need being centre-back and a DM. I promise you, if you think you've seen me angry on this channel, if we go through January and we don't bring in a centre-back, you will hear all kinds of levels of expletives and frustration and anger released that you may not have seen since the early days of the channel, because it's an admission we're giving up on the season in my head if we don't get a centre-back. Slot will come out with some garbage that's different to that. All the yes men that cover the club will come up with some excuse as to why it's acceptable, but it is in no way acceptable if we don't get a centre-back in January. Craig, don't shit in the shower. It's hard to get down the plug hole. I can safely say, mate, I've never done that. I remember reading something about Andre the Giant having to take a shit in baths when he was touring with the WWF back in the day because he couldn't fit on the toilet. But that's a different day's conversation. Double L Line said, just happy I don't do it in the bath anymore. I can honestly say I never did it in the bath now, to be fair. Never in the bath. I'm 6'4" and simply can't fit comfortably in most household bathtubs. A shout out to all the other tall people in the chat. Well, you're not talking to me then. I'm 5'10", so I'm not in the tall people camp there, unfortunately. Interesting factoid, by the way. I've said this for years. I'm the smallest person to have ever made content on Anfield Agenda. And I mean that in general. Paddy Murphy, over 6 foot. Connor, over 6 foot. Chris, over 6 foot. Steve, over 6 foot. Jack Gill, over 6 foot. I'm the only under 6 foot person that's made any content on this channel. That is weird to me. Adeyemi is similar to Lucho when he came in my opinion. I think, look, you can't really argue on the price with Adeyemi. You know, if you don't think he's good enough, you don't want him, cool. But at 20 million quid, you know, that's not a bad number. So, I did ask, would you be happy with signing Karim Adeyemi for £20 million? We've had 1,500 votes so far. If you can, keep voting. We'll get it up to 2,000 and we'll see how you're feeling. Right, we're 41 subscribers away. It's Christmas Eve. If there's 41 people that haven't yet subscribed and you want to give me a little early Christmas present, please do hit that subscribe button and help us get to 366,000 subscribers. Because now, to get back to the thing I said earlier on about my future, the last year in particular has taken an awful lot out of me, mentally, physically and emotionally, doing this channel. Between there's pitfalls, there's pluses and minuses to it. As you grow and the channel gets bigger, the knives come out for you more, and the lies about you come out more, and the threats come out more, and the impact on your family becomes greater. And I'm trying to balance that with my love of doing what I do. So I don't know how the next year is going to go. I can promise you I will be here all the way through 2026. That's not going to change. But if it continues in the way it has done, I don't know how many more years I could do it. Because this has been a tough year for my family. And that's where, it's not for me. I'm here in front of camera. I can take the shit. I put myself forward in front of the camera. But, you know, some of the stuff that my poor family have had to be witness to has been difficult for me as a father, as a husband, to see and cope with. So yeah, I that's what I'm hoping for in 2026. Is, of course, we want the channel to keep going in the right direction, but I just hope for a bit less anger and a bit less unnecessary hatred in the world for all of us. Because, you know, I'm a big believer in putting positive stuff out there, surrounding yourself with positivity and trying to be a better person and make other people's lives better. So yeah, fingers crossed for that for the next year. But one more thing I want to add to that is I'm now fully believing we can get 1 million subscribers. I said this to you the other day for the first time, but now I really believe it. I think we can do it. I think we can get to 1 million subscribers with everybody's help, because our family, our community is growing, and why not? It's dream time, folks. Why not? I never thought I'd get to have a studio. That's happening. I never thought I'd be a homeowner. That's going to be happening. So let's chase down that dream together. Let's try and do this in 2026 or moving forward. Tom said, just put Diogo signed shirts under the tree from... Collector's Corner, excuse me. Thanks a million for recommending them. Looks great. Much love to you in the chat. In my opinion, we can pull an Ekatike with Barcola. Well, I'm so glad that you liked your purchase from the Collector's Corner. I love everything that I've gotten from them. And like I said, we're going to be working with them throughout 2026 here on the channel. And we're going to be giving away a prize from them every single month. So yeah, glad you like what you've gotten. I've gotten loads of stuff myself, and really they are top notch. Craig, do you desire the gold plaque? We all know you're going to stay beyond 2030. 2030, I don't know, man, about 2030. Honestly, at 2030, I think I'll be living in Spain. So maybe Connor takes over the channel in the future. I don't know. I do want the gold plaque. Jesus, I do. I want that gold plaque. But I don't know. Like I've said, what the future holds. Somebody could come in next week and offer to buy the channel, and that that could be the end of that. I might be here till 2045. Who knows? I don't know. I love doing this. I love it. But I just don't like when it impinges on my family. And that's the only part that really hurts me and gets to me. Like when I was reading out things to you the other day, when people like saying they're going to rape my son, I can't be doing with that. Like, best Liverpool channel by far. Affect the haters, Craig. They don't pay your bills or feed your family. Much love to our adopted Irish Scouser. Thank you, my man. Look, it's never been about money for me. Any of this shit, a portion of everything we make goes out the door every month to people, to causes, to things that we want to try and help out with. And speaking about that, I want to say a thank you on this. So somebody at the start, when I had this as the waiting screen, said, I thought that was Ian Gary. Well, this young man trained with Ian Gary, and Ian Gary is an idol of this young man. And I gave him a signed Ian Gary photograph the other day, and Ian Gary shared it. But this young man is somebody who we are a sponsor of, and somebody who we're trying to help raise €3,500 to get over to represent Ireland at the European Championships in Serbia, along with his twin brother, in February. Now, so far, the GoFundMe, which was only set up this week, is almost at the halfway mark. Anfield Agenda donated €1,000 on behalf of our community. Other people have very kindly come in as well. But if you can help us make this young man's dream come true, I promise you, you will not regret it. Adam is going to make it. Adam is going to be in the UFC. Adam is a champion. He's a European champion, a world championship runner-up, a multiple national time champion. But the Sports Ireland don't fund mixed martial arts. Even though he's been selected to represent his country, again, all of the costs have to come out of his own pocket. And like all of us, he comes from a normal, hard-working, working-class family. And we want to make sure that this young man can just focus on his training. We're going to help him with a nutrition. We're going to set him up with a sports psychologist. We're going to make sure that we can get in contact with protein companies, pre-workout companies, and make sure that that man lives his dream. Because I promise you, you will not see a more impressive, focused 16-year-old kid anywhere than Adam Duffy. He is incredible. We're going to bring him on for an interview on the channel. Yeah. So I hope you guys can, if you can, make a small little donation to that. And let's see Adam bring back the gold. Nola Eli said, Craig, the Tune Review tried to skewer you, sad little channel. People keep saying this to me, mate, about that channel, about the fella by the name of Adam Pearson. I don't give a shit, and I don't mean that to you. They can talk about me all they want. They don't know me. They've never spoken with me. They like to make out like they're a great fan base when they're wishing injuries on people, selling rat burgers. And I say this wholeheartedly. The only reason they're mentioning my name is to gain relevancy. The only reason they're mentioning my name is a hope that I clap back and give them the oxygen that they want. It isn't going to happen because they mean absolutely fucking nothing to me. I don't know who they are. I don't give a fuck about their opinion of me. They can continue to chat about me all that they want. That's my only take on it. They've been at it for months. Crack on. If that's what you need to do to try and make yourself relevant, you crack on. Simple as that. I don't give a shit. Merry Christmas, Craig, to you and your family. Thank you, Angela. Always appreciate you. And Merry Christmas to you and yours as well. Nola Eli said, I'm glad you don't care, Craig. I was in the comments defending you to all of them. Look, I don't give a shite about any of them. Like I've said, Newcastle fan base, outside of the ones I like, anyone that has that bad about me can suck my balls. It's that simple. Do something about it or shut the fuck up. Like I said, I don't use other people's name to try and get credibility. I worked hard to get to where I am. If they want to try and use my name to get some interactions, try and be better. Try and have a better channel. Try and be more interesting. Try and do something fucking unique. I don't know. But either way, keep talking about me as much as you want. Just remember this, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. You know who I am. I haven't got a fucking clue who you are or know anything about you. And that to me tells you everything you should know about this situation. You're irrelevant to me. But I live rent free in your head. Who's won here really, mate? Who's won here really? I'm not completely against the Pie transfer if 7 million as reported. Hugo can't play 90 minutes, 50 games, and Dan's injury prone and young. We need a striker until Isak is back. Imagine Hugo gets injured. I mean this sincerely. I don't want Memphis Depay anywhere near our football club. Nowhere near it. Yeah, simple as that. And it's nothing, like, it's not that I have anything in particular against Memphis Depay, but I'm just fed up of these half-arsed signings that Liverpool have done over the years that are sticking plasters that have never worked. Arthur Mello didn't work. Ozan Kabak didn't work. Davies didn't work. It just doesn't work. If you need a player and you think you need a player, then go get one. But bringing in somebody like Memphis Depay and paying a fee for it is just stupidity. He's past his best. He's over in Mexico playing football. We are better and can do better than the idea of bringing in Memphis Depay at this point of his career. Other than the Dutch connection, I just don't want that to do with it. I just don't think it makes sense. They're still sour about Isak. Goes to show what a good player they think he's going to be. What are they sour about, the Newcastle fans? This is what I don't understand. Here's what they moan at me about. I said they should know their place as a club. They should. They aren't Liverpool. They aren't as big as us. I don't think that's a debatable fact. They called Isak a rat. They sold Isak as a rat t-shirts with free boxes of matches outside the ground. They named a burger a rat burger after him. They have had young kids outside the training ground calling him all sorts of things. So why should I have any respect for a fan base that is that disgusting towards a player? And let's not forget, Johan Visa went there pulling the same stuff with Brentford. Now, I've nothing against Johan Visa either. Great footballer. But Newcastle fans are a delusional bunch of clowns when it comes to the Isak situation. You know? I say this loving Brian and True Geordie as a guy. Loving the Irish guy. Friends of mine, great content creators, great Newcastle fans. But the selective memory of the situation around Isak is nothing short of embarrassing. You got 125 million fucking pound. A British transfer record. And you're celebrating a player getting injured. That is scumbag level behaviour. If you don't see that and think that you get to sit there and fucking judge me, then fuck you, fuck each and every last one of you, and fuck all of your backwards idiotic opinions about a situation that has been nothing but embarrassing in how you've dealt with it. Simple as that. And that's a fact. Look what Visa did to get his move. Look what Gyökeres did to get his move. But the whole thing has always been around Isak. Always. 125 million quid. Ask why he wasn't given the contract earlier that he was promised. Ask why Eddie Howe left him out of the trip up to Celtic. Because that's when all this started to really kick on. He was left out of a team up at Celtic when he was there and available. And then from that point, everything changed. But again, selective memories from the Newcastle fans around the Isak situation. It is what it is. We got him. You don't. Enjoy the players that you do have. And anybody wishing injury on a footballer is a piece of shit scumbag. Simple as that. And by the way, the same Newcastle fans Does any of them wanted to go back and watch the content when Newcastle beat us in the League Cup final? Does anybody remember how I reacted to that defeat? Because I do. Firstly, messaged every Newcastle fan I knew, congratulating them. Congratulated a well-deserving fan base on a trophy that they'd waited a very long time for. Showed nothing but class and respect to their football club. So whatever their problem is with me, they need to actually research my take. Look back when I was asked if Liverpool didn't exist, who I would have supported. I've only ever had kind words to say about Geordie's Newcastle fans. Their bitterness is of their own making, and they want to point the finger at me and others because I don't know why. Because they just want to live that way. Cool. I don't give a shit. You be you. But just be you and know that you aren't Liverpool. You should have known your place. I told you if you didn't give up Isak, Ekitike was going to become a Liverpool player. You thought you were Billy Big Bollocks. It happened and we still went and took your boy. Simple as that. And you made it easier by calling him a rat and a lying bastard and a scumbag and all the other shit. I saw the message you put in the WhatsApp group. I'm so sorry about your uncle. We're all behind you, Craig. Love your content. Merry Christmas. Thank you. Appreciate you. A Merry Christmas to you and yours as well. Keane said Isak didn't refuse to play or train. He was excluded. They have selective memory of it, like I said. They didn't give him the contract they promised them. And then he was available for the game against Celtic. The manager left him out. Then they couldn't get their story straight about why he wasn't in the team. One time they tried to say he's injured. Then the next time Eddie Howe said, no, I just left him out. But they're just showing themselves up that they are a tin pot club that don't really have any class about them in the way that they act. You know, let's be frank here. They want to point fingers and cast aspersions at people. Well, time for some home truths for you lot. I'm not aware of our fans going after Real Madrid fans over Trent. Those situations, though, are so far removed because Isak came to Liverpool and Newcastle got 130 million, 125 from us, and 5 million in loyalty bonuses that paid for Visa and Voltmada. That part seems to have slipped the mind. It's not like Isak went on a free, ran down his contract and left. They got 130 million quid and they still feel hard done by. Did you see the clip of that idiot Simon Jordan say Isak's injury is karma? I didn't. I don't watch TalkSport because it's a shit show. All talk show is, and look, somebody I have a lot of respect for works with talk show. Works with TalkSport occasionally, Dara McAnthony, and I love and respect Dara immensely, so I certainly don't include him. But Simon Jordan loves the sound of his own voice. Simon Jordan thinks he knows everything about everything. Simon Jordan is just a mouthpiece. Simon Jordan tries to just talk over and shout at people rather than allow them to push back. So whatever Simon Jordan had to say about karma, I don't give a fuck. As Eddie Hearn said to him, he's a disc jockey now. That's what he is. He's there to push emotional buttons and get angry football fans to call in and talk. That's all it is. So they can do what they want and he can say what he wants. But either way, I don't have much positive stuff to say about Simon Jordan either. And do you know where my actual dislike of Simon Jordan comes from mostly? And you probably aren't going to believe I said this because do you remember Robbie from AFTV? And I don't have any relationship with Robbie. Never spoke to him, don't know him. But I remember Robbie from AFTV went on and did a video with Jim White and Simon Jordan. And all it was the two of them ganging up and trying to embarrass and put pressure on Robbie. And I remember thinking at that moment in time, if I was sitting in that studio and those two domineering pricks were talking down to me the way they were, that interview would have ended a very different way. And it would have ended with me going across the table to Simon Jordan's face to tell him what an arrogant, stuck-up prick he is and how he isn't going to intimidate me on national radio or with his pal beside him trying to gang up. It was pathetic, it was embarrassing, and it was a disgrace. And I felt for Robbie in that moment. Where are we at? Craig, can we see the dancing alien when we score on Saturday, please? Yes, we can. Yes, we can. I don't have a Christmas version, though. We should probably have a Christmas version of New Lawn. So, here's something from Arna that confuses me a little bit. So, Arna was speaking about how we missed Cody Gakpo and Mohamed Salah in the win against Spurs. And this is what the gaffer had to say. When the other team goes down to 10 or 9, it's helpful to have wingers that can dominate down the sides. We miss Gakpo and Mo. That's also what you saw when we brought Jeremy in. He was the one who created the second goal. What he didn't say there was that he also had two wingers on the bench that he could have brought on at any moment when they went down to 10 or after. And he brought Chiesa on in the 90th minute. So why wasn't he bringing on Rio? Or why wasn't he bringing Chiesa to help provide that width? Rather than Frimpong, who unfortunately then ended up going off a little bit later after Richarlison scratched his face. Like these are the type of things that are winding me up about Arna. He's talking about having 12 first team players available, and then he's coming out and saying things like the load aren't the reason why the players are getting injured. Come on, Arna. Let's not be silly. When you're overplaying people because you have such a small squad that you want and you're ignoring some of the players, they're going to pick up knocks and injuries. It's going to happen. Right, we're one vote away from there we go. So 74% of you guys said yes, you would be happy to sign Karim Adeyemi at £20 million. Appreciate all of you that took part in the poll. Give us a rendition of Fairy Tale of New York. No, because when I say one particular line in it, I'm going to get in trouble. You know the line I'm on about as well, Connor. So yes, I'm absolutely not going to. You might get it though on New Year's Eve if I've had a couple of drinks, because you never know what way I'm showing up for the New Year's Eve streams. You know, there was that one year I was very, very drunk, and Lucas, Chris, and Izzy got me through that stream, and I don't even remember it, to be honest with you. So yeah, who knows? The New Year's Eve streams are usually the interesting one. It was Christmas Eve, babe, in the drunk tank. An old man said, son, I won't see another one. See, I could do it, but I'm not going to. Anthony said, hey Craig, Merry Christmas from the capital of Ireland, Cork. You bloody wish me. Once upon a time. I'll tell you what I'll give you. You're not getting the capital, Anthony, but you're the fillet of Munster. How about that, bro? One question. What's your favourite Christmas song? Oh, it's the Pogues. It's Fairy Tale of New York. It's got to be. It's the song. I don't think there can be a better answer than that one. Driving Home for Christmas was cool, and, you know, rest in peace Chris Ray, who passed away this week. But, yeah, look, it's got to be Fairy Tale of New York, because it's got a bit of everything in it. There's a little bit of sadness, a bit of an up-tempo beat to it, some beautiful singing in it. It's just a great song. Rain said, what Slot said about Elliott in his last press conference was shameless. It was ridiculous, wasn't it? It was so stupid, like. You've got a player who, fair enough, you might not want around longer term, but a player who's not getting minutes, who loves our club, and we are short of attacking options. And you're saying no to bringing him back because he's a Villa player for the year? That's weird. Um, Awful song. Fairy Tale of New York. It's an absolutely incredible song. And if you think it's an awful song, I would. Yeah, I don't know what you would class as a good song, but it's a beautiful, fantastic song that, again, will be around forever. E17, Stay Another Day. Oh, that was a good song as well. That was a very good song. That reminds me of my youth going out to Lautrec's, or Club Life as it was called, out in Latouche Hotel in Greystones. I remember going to their underage discos as a teenager, and E17 and that song playing. Yeah, I've good memories of that one, definitely. Craig, please give us some clue about Mark A. I can't see a world without any centre back in January for us. Can't go on like this, or done as realistic in January. Um, all I can say to you about the Mark Gay stuff is what I was told, and the only thing I know, which is that my understanding is that he has given his word to Liverpool that he will join. But the indications coming from certainly some of the journalists that cover Liverpool are that it's more likely in the summer. Now, look, Joel Ordonez is a very credible option. Schlotterbeck, as somebody said, is a very credible option. Bastoni is a credible option, but I don't know how credible it would be availability wise for us to go and get him. But no centre back, and honestly, I don't think we win anything this season. Like nothing. Centre back gives us a chance, and here's why. And I'm going to keep repeating this. At the moment, we've got two centre backs in Joe Gomez, who's injured but will come back. One of those two centre backs is about to go into the last 6 months of his contract. Now, we've seen how his head has been all over the place at the start of this season. If he doesn't sign a deal with Liverpool before 1st of January, you are going to see newspaper headlines all over the place talking about his future, where he might go at the end of the year, where he's going to commit to when he leaves Liverpool. On top of that, you're going to have Mohamed Salah coming back after the AFCON, and I promise you, that situation's not finished with either. He's going to have some more problems if he's left out of the team, and it will just have a knock-on negative effect that I think will impact the second part of our season. That's one of the reasons I think getting a centre-back is absolutely pivotal in this January window. You can't hope that Canada and Virgil don't pick up an injury. It's just madness. Has to be done. And they've no excuse, because they tried to sign one in the summer. They failed in that. So they can't admit we don't need one. So they've got to go and get one in. Wham! Last Christmas. Oh, I've got a documentary about that actually, Rachel, on my recorded on my Skybox to watch. I love a bit of Wham. I do. I love a bit of Wham. Absolute banger of a song, that one as well. Yeah. Still not Fairy Tale of New York, but a great look. There've been some great Christmas songs over the years, without a doubt. The Darkness. Christmas time. Don't let the bells end. But I have a different version of that. My version that I sing is Christmas time, go ask me bells end. That's my version of the Darkness one. Craig, have you read about Adeyemi's off the field illegal weapon drama with his rapper girlfriend / wife? That's the reason why Dortmund is selling him cheaply. I don't know anything about his off field antics. Yeah, I really don't, to be fair. But look, I'm sure that the club would look into that stuff. I haven't got a clue, lads. I don't know anything about Karim Adeyemi's. I know very little about a lot of footballers' off field antics, to be honest with you, because I'm very much a mindset of I don't give a shit as long as you perform on the pitch, unless you're doing something illegal, of course. But I would trust the club to vet any potential signings. Craig, outside of nightly herbal infusion, have you ever been a serious drinker or have been sober for 20 plus years? I'd love to, but I can't once I start. No, I've not. like any other one, 19, 20, 21, going out with my mates the weekends, yeah, maybe, but I've always found that the 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 upside of having a drink versus the downside of how I feel for the next 2 days, the it doesn't weigh up for me. There's too many cons versus the pros. So I just chose to just not really be a drinker. And of course, with alcoholism prevalent on, unfortunately, both sides of my family, it's just, I knew it was a slippery slope for me, that if I did, and look, one thing I've said to you before is, like, I've been through a lot of my life, and when things aren't well, you lean on stuff a lot of the times as a crutch. And I've always been very fortunate that I've never stepped over the line into going really too far where it isn't salvageable. So no, drink's never been one for me. Um, I had a period where I was 17 or 18 to 21, where I partied incessantly as working as a DJ. And I don't want to talk about Class A substances or anything, because kids are listening and watching, and I don't want to speak about that. But over the course of time, I've just found that herbal infusion changed my life. It changed my life from a mental health perspective in a positive way, from a relaxation perspective, from just it. But even at that, mate, I have to be so regimented. I've never smoked during the day, ever. And I'm 44, and I've been partaking in herbal infusions since I was 16. Never ever during the day, ever. Always very regimented with my time of the day to this time of the day, and that's it. Because I know I have to live my life with a very structured way, or I could be in trouble. There's obviously addiction and addictive genes and traits that I have that I need to make sure I'm careful with. And do you know what else? It scared me. Because when you go out and you have a mad one and you have too many drinks, I've seen too many people's lives change in negative ways from the consequences of that. I've known friends who've gone to prison, who've gone out on a night out, had one punch in a fight with somebody that, then had a collision with the curb, and that changed their life. And I don't want to wake up and have one night's stupidity ruin the rest of my life. So I need to have my faculties about me. If that stuff legal where you are? No, it isn't. What's your predicted starting 11? I highly doubt Chiesa will start. Right, I'll give it to you real quick because it's Christmas Eve. But the preview is coming out tomorrow, so I'd like you to watch it. So I'm not going to give you my score prediction, but I will really quickly tell you my 11. Alisson, Frimpong, Canade, Virgil, Kirkes, Gravenberch, Mac Allister, Jones, Wirtz, Chiesa, Ekitike. That's the 11 I went with. Am I doing a news roundup video later? No, I'm going to be finishing up at 10:30 with the stream, and then that's it. No more videos being done. The previews coming out in the morning, and then I will see you tomorrow night. I'll be back tomorrow night for a Christmas Eve or a Christmas night agenda at some point. But yeah, and I won't be doing anything live on the 26th, just putting out a news video. So yeah. But keep your comments and chat coming in tonight. Someone asked for a favourite holiday or Christmas movie. Mine isn't the Christmas movie, but it's Willy Wonka or Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the Gene Wilder film. That's my one, but I know it's not a Christmas movie. So if I had to really, really, really pick a Christmas movie, it's probably going to be something like National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation or something like that. Die Hard, yeah. Die Hard's probably a lot of people's, to be fair. It's a good film. Don't get me wrong. It's just it wouldn't be one I'd rewatch and rewatch and rewatch. I knew it. Look, Die Hard, Home Alone 1 or 2. Yeah, all great shouts, by the way. All great shouts. Is MACCA getting a contract? There's talk, Adam. Yes, there is talk of him getting a new contract. And look, let's say this: happy birthday to Alexis Mac Allister, 27 today. World Cup winner, Copa America winner, Finalissima winner, Premier League winner, Carabao Cup winner, Argentine Primera Division winner, and 27 years of age today. Unlucky though. I wonder if when he was a child, did he get screwed? You know, did he get the whole here's two presents in one kind of thing? Because my brother-in-law has a later December birthday, and he often got shafted with two presents in one. So I wonder if MACCA got that grown up, you know. Being born on the 24th, I wonder if he got this is your Christmas and your birthday present. Anthony Lockery said, Craig, I officially love you. Thank you. Willy Wonka is a brilliant movie, and those people who say Die Hard is a Christmas movie, they're wrong. I just love Gene Wilder. You know, my dad brought me up to watch so many Gene Wilder films. And there's still a few, like I haven't seen some of his most famous ones that people talk about all the time, but my dad had a big influence on me culturally in my life, about comedy, about music, about the fight game. You know, my dad was a black belt in kung fu and knew a lot of boxers, so I was around those type of guys in my life, which is where I developed my love of boxing and stuff. But he also maybe inadvertently got me into Richard Pryor, because I was watching, you know, a lot of the See No Evil, Hear No Evil, Brewster's Millions, a lot of those type of films. So I developed my love of Richard Pryor and then Gene Wilder, and then developed my love of stand-up comedy and stuff like that. And I just think Gene Wilder is magnificent. Magnificent. Shawshank Redemption and Green Mile. Oh, two incredible films. Incredible. The Shawshank. So here's an interesting one. You know, Red in the Shawshank Redemption, played by Morgan Freeman. That in the book, that's actually written about an Irish guy, and he's called Red because he has red hair. In the book originally, but yeah, what a movie that was! What a movie. Luke said, "You're my hero, Craig. Big fan. Please, please, please don't ever put me on a pedestal like that, because I'm not deserving of it. But here's what I always say. I'm your friend. I'm your mate. Because that's how I think of all of you. Family and mates. I am no better, no worse than any of you. I'm a normal working class fella that somehow got a bit lucky. But, you know, we're all on the same level, my friend. So I'm your mate, you're my mate, and I'm grateful for that. Hear No Evil, See No Evil, Stir Crazy. Yeah, all brilliant. Mel Brooks as well. Oh, lads. I often say this to my friends. Is anybody old enough to remember Blazing Saddles? I'll give you a minute in the chat to let me know if does anybody remember Blazing Saddles, because there are some films in my life that mean so much to me. Don't Be a Menace to South Central or Drinking Your Juice in the Hood, A Bronx Tale, Blazing Saddles, The Life of Brian. You know, there are movies in my life that just shape me, and Blazing Saddles, it was just a masterpiece. But can you imagine right now in this day and age walking in with that script and putting that script down on the table in any movie company and asking to get that made? Not a hope. Like when Mongo punches the horse. It's just the scene about the Waco kid where he puts his hand up and he goes, "Yeah, look, steady as a rock," and he goes, "Yeah, but this was my shooting hand." It's just all just genius. I love it, love it. So yeah, that's what I was brought up on, that kind of comedy and music wise. My dad was a big fan of Motown and Elvis and obviously Irish ballads. Baked beans around the fire, yeah. Or the what was it they called it? This was it the dance. What was the dance? I can't remember what the name of the dance was. I was just gonna say Blazing Saddles. What a cracker of a movie. That's when it all went to change to get through the toll in the middle of the desert. It's just brilliant. Just absolutely brilliant. Blazing Saddles. I love it. Young Frankenstein is one of those, Mark, that I'm embarrassed to say I haven't watched. And I know it's one of Gene Wilder's most famous. But yeah, I've never watched it. I've never watched that. And here's another one. It's not Gene Wilder, but I've never seen The Princess Bride either. I've not seen that. What's your top three films? Um, what's my top three films? Okay, so I'm not saying that these are the best three films ever made, but I'm talking about films that hit me in a way and impacted me in a way that was profound. These are so uniquely different that can I give you five because I can't narrow it down to three. So the first one is Chasing Amy. And the reason for that is a very personal one that I'd like to keep to myself. But Chasing Amy is one. Another one is A Bronx Tale because it's a story as old as time about a father trying to keep his son away from the wrong people. And it was Robert De Niro's directorial debut. And I ended up watching it one night late at night without knowing much about it and absolutely falling in love with it. So that, another one, of course, is Goodfellas. It's absolutely incredible. It is a masterpiece. The Godfather, of course, is another one, and probably Scarface. Would be the fifth one. And at that, I'm probably still forgetting a few more that hold meaning to me. But yeah, and then there are other films like Rounders that I absolutely love. Yeah, but those are the ones that, off the top of my head. I would say, like I was a huge Jay and Silent Bob fan. Still am, to be honest with you. But yeah, Chasing Amy was I think that's a film that just had a connection with me for some reason. More so than Mallrats or Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back or Dogma or any of those. What's your favourite football goal that you've seen on TV? Um, two. So Diego Maradona's goal against England, not the hand of God one, the other one. And my other favourite goal I've seen on TV was Marco van Basten's Euro '88 volley. Just out of this world. Karate Kid's a beautiful film. Never underestimate the underdog. Yep, love that. Love Jerry Maguire as well. Absolutely adored that as a film. Yeah, like I said, there's so many. I think it depends what movie you're in and what you want to see. Like I've always been big into reading up about the mafia and criminals, and that's why like Scarface, Goodfellas, Casino, all those type of movies, really really fascinated me growing up. The kind of duality, like The Sopranos as a TV show. It's one of the most incredible TV shows because Tony Soprano's a scumbag. You know he is, but you like him because he's endearing, and it's not all bad. And I think it really well balanced the duality and the processes of good versus bad. Yeah. So things like that are why I like things. Things that just remind me of something, or I think just hit you right in the feels. Carlito's Way. Yeah, that was a good one. Billy Blanco from the Bronx. Uh, Reminds me how broken our family is. I'm just watching some movies with my sister. That's all from a Christmas. Merry Christmas, Craig. Merry Christmas to you and your family, Jonathan. Thank you, bro. Craig, do you think Toney got whacked in the last scene? No, but I was expecting it. I was when he went and put the Journey song on the jukebox, and he's sitting there with the family, and the door opens. I was fully expecting it. Yeah. Has anybody been watching Landman? Sorry, if you're tuning in to talk about Liverpool news, I will read through some more in a minute. Apologies, we've got a good 35 minutes left. But I've been watching Landman as well, on Paramount Plus. Wow, love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Goodwill Hunting, the battle with mental health in that movie. Goodwill Hunting was incredible. That It's Not Your Fault scene with Robin Williams. Um, that was moving stuff. Moving stuff it was. Absolutely love Landman, said Robin Cullen. Landman's brilliant. Landman's epic. So would you agree that season 2 has been better? Because I think the addition of the actors they've brought into season 2 of Landman, I think it's pushed the show on even further. Like Billy Bob Thornton's incredible in it, but I think the fact that the cast they've added into it in season 2, I think it's pushed the show on even more. Falling Down is such an underrated movie. It is, absolutely. Um, Especially that moment where you know too late for the breakfast by a couple of minutes and common sense going out the window. We've all been one of those moments, haven't we? Where you just wish somebody would show you some common sense and just decency rather than being a complete company man or woman and going by the rules. And that's the thing that just makes you snap in that moment. By the way, Craig, you're 100% wrong. Cork is the real capital of Ireland. Now, I want to ask you a question. Have I ever heard about the event centre we were from BAM? The event centre we were from BAM since 2016. I don't know what you mean by that, Paddy Wacker. But sorry, I don't know what you mean by that, mate. And it's not Dublin's the capital, mate. That's just pretty obvious. Cork was the capital, but Dublin's the capital of Ireland. Let's be honest about it. But I love Cork. I do love Cork. It's one of the most beautiful counties in our lovely little country. Did you see Fargo? No, I'd watched season 1 of Fargo, the TV show. I think, yeah, back in the day. Any updates on Soboslai's contract extension? Not that I'm aware of. No, nothing new, but that'll get done. That'll get done because I think we'd all agree that he's the potential future captain of Liverpool Football Club. The one that's intrigued me a bit is the talk around Mac Allister getting a new deal, because I think they're giving him a new deal to protect his value, because I can see a world where Mac Allister gets sold in a year or so. And I'm concerned about Alexis this season because he seems just exhausted, or like he can't get going. Like he just seems stuck in, I don't know, it's not like himself. I love him to bits. I have a signed MACCA Argentina shirt. I can't wait to hang up, but just don't think he's been the same this year. What's the point in bringing back Elliott and Chimicus if they're both not rated? Bench options that don't get used. So I've no interest in bringing back Costas. So for me, I don't know what on that one. But the Elliott one, the reason for me would be this. One, a duty of care to him, because he's gone to Villa in a situation where they've already made it clear they're not going to trigger the amount of games that would make that a permanent deal. I think it's 10. And he's not played since something like October. We're also short at the minute in attacking areas. So bring him back. If anything else, you give him an opportunity to put himself in the shop window, as well as help us out for the second half of the season. And then sell him in the summer, and he probably gets a move to wherever, a club that suits, him a little bit better. That's the reason I think Elliott should be brought back in. Because he wants to try, and I'm not saying he'll be successful at it, but get himself into Tuchel's thinking for the World Cup. And I just think we could do a lot worse than having Harvey Elliott at the club, especially with the treatment and the way it's gone at Villa. No, I'm not trying to run Villa down. As I said, Monchi wanted him in, Emery didn't, Monchi since gone. So it's just been really, really unfortunate. But I'd have him back in a heartbeat for the rest of the season. Any update on Isak's injury? Yeah. Looking at about 2 months from what we can gather in the last, from earlier on today. I would say maybe put it to 10 weeks in your mind, sentimentally, just to, don't let yourself feel downbeat by it, or, if it's not exactly 8 weeks, but 8 to 10 weeks seems to be in and around the prognosis on this one. But after that, then you got to ask yourself, how long before he gets back into a level of fitness? How long before, he really starts to have an impact for the team again? So yeah, for me, mentally, I'm not writing him off for the season because he will be back, but I'm more going to start judging him then from the summer and next season when he has a full pre-season under his belt. He's recovered from his injury. And look, if he can give us some bonus goals and minutes by the end of the season, happy days. But yeah, 8 to 10 weeks looks like roughly the prognosis on that one. I want to ask you a question on Bastoni. One sec. So, do you think Bastoni is really possible? Because that's the thing I've wrestled with most about the links to Alessandro Bastoni. I don't know anybody who has too many doubts about him. Sorry, I misspelled the name. I forgot the A in Bastoni. My apologies on that one. But you know who I meant. Yeah, I've never doubted the ability of him as the player. But I don't know. Would you get him out of Italy? Question number 1. Somebody reminded me the other day that I didn't think we could get Wirtz, and we got him. So I guess I can never say nothing's impossible anymore. But there's just something about that deal that doesn't feel like we're going to do it. But I'd love him because I do think he's a great defender and a leader. And I guess the interesting thing would be as well to think when it's possible. Like, when would you do it? Because, if you wait till Van Dijk's gone, I dare say somebody else may come in at that point and try to get him. There's been some rough links to Barcelona, although I don't know where they're at financially. Maybe Bastoni in the summer, but definitely not January, and we need centre back now. Yeah, I am. I'm starting to get dread for the January window that we may not actually get what we need. Like, if we end up bringing in an Adeyemi, let's say, and we ignore centre back, I think that's just asking for trouble for the season, and I'll have no sympathy for Slot, and I won't listen to any of his bullshit in press conferences about unluckiness or fatigue or any of that crap. Centre back, every Liverpool podcast, fan forum, journalist that covers the club, everybody should be screaming in every headline and articles, we need a centre back, get a centre back, get a centre back, get a centre back. Don't even dare not get a centre back. Get a centre back. It's that obvious to me that it's lacking. Somebody said, would I consider Die Hard a Christmas movie? I don't know. It depends how you judge a Christmas movie. Do you judge a Christmas movie on it having a Christmas theme? Or do you judge a Christmas movie on it being something that's always shown in and around Christmas? And I would say it's the latter. That's why I always say it's Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory for me, or Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Because that was always on when I was growing up in the morning, and I always watched it. So that became my Christmas movie. So is Die Hard a Christmas movie? I would say yes, because it's always on around Christmas. Muldor said, I can't see if we get Bastoni that next year VVD would be a backup. Have a Bastoni and Gay as the starting pair. But if we think longer term, I do look. Let's not forget Giovanni Leone will be back. He'll be 19 at that point, and raring to go and get game time. If you bring in Mark Gay, that's another one. Then I think we're going to see, maybe not next summer, but I'm almost certain we'll see Jarrell Kwanzaa bought back at some point. So then you're starting to build up that collection of centre backs again. Let's say it's Mark Gay at 25, Kwanzaa at 22 at that point, 22-ish. Leone 19 at that point. So you are refreshing the age profile. The really interesting one though was Canade. What the bloody hell is going to happen with him? Because are you concerned if he goes into January and he hasn't agreed a contract extension with us? Are you concerned that that's going to impact his form? Because I know we're going to be told it won't, because, you know, the managers and the clubs always have to come out and say that stuff, but there's no part of me that doesn't think it's going to just take up column inches, become a distraction, and become a bit toxic. And here's something else I want to add. I watched the highlights last night of Arsenal's victory over Crystal Palace in the quarter-final of the League Cup. And I watched the celebrations of the Arsenal fans. And I watched the disappointment in the Palace fans. And I've seen the celebrations from the Chelsea fans, the Manchester City fans, the Newcastle fans. And what getting to the semi-final of the League Cup and the goodwill that that's given them, and some of the players it's allowed them to bring through and give more game time to. And then I rewound back to thinking about the people who were so happy for us to just jib off the League Cup because of a league game against Villa. And it still angers me to this moment, because all these clubs now, Arsenal, Chelsea, City, Newcastle, all their fan bases are buzzing at a two-legged semi-final and another chance at Wembley and a potential trophy. But our manager deemed that we're too good for that competition. That we only play young players in it, ignoring that we always have the bench stacked with other players. And he threw it away. And we could have been looking forward to that at a time where we've struggled for form and positivity, and there's been some toxicity in our fan base. That could have been an easy win and an easy plus for the club. And it still angers me that it was just so easily thrown in the bin and accepted by too many people. I've given up on Canada, said Phil Cox. Willy Wonka's the Gene Wilder one, and Charlie and Chocolate Factory is the weird one. Yeah, the book also throws me as well, Mark, though. The name of the book. Can it impact his form? Is it possible for him to play worse than he has this season, although he's played better in recent games? Can he play worse? No, but he could return to that poor form, like you've mentioned, where, you know, his head was up his backside. And I just don't think the players who underperform in our team at times, I think it's no coincidence a lot of them don't have competition for places. Veteran Skill said, in my opinion, I can't trust a 34-year-old VVD and Canade performing inconsistently. Need two centre-backs for rotation so players get rests and playing time. So yeah, where are we at with Van Dijk then? Because it is kind of a situation we haven't discussed much on the channel anyway, about his form this season. Do you think there's been a big drop-off from Virgil? Or do you think that those around him, so let's say two new right backs, with regards to the ones playing each week, and then big change at left back as well as Canade's thing around him, and what's in front of him, do you think some of that is just making Verge look worse, or is he declining? Do you think Slot's addiction of midfielders is because he used to play there? I don't know. I just think if I was to sit down with Arna and ask him one thing, I would ask him, what do you think the style of football you have us playing is doing to benefit us? What's the upside of the way you have us playing in your mind? Because if it's ball possession, it's not worth the shit. Because the ball possession means nothing unless that possession is turned into good offensive opportunities. And you'd also hope that it would restrict the chances we're giving up. Like, he's still banging on about how we've conceded 8 set-piece goals and others haven't. And in some way, in his mind, it feels like he thinks we've been unlucky or something. And I don't think at times he talks sense. I think he talks how he wants things to be, or how he wants something to be perceived based off the reality of what's actually happening in that situation. Daniel O'Brien said, Merry Christmas, Craig. Hope you have a good one. Thank you, mate. Same to you. Appreciate you. Hope you and your family have a good one as well. If you saw my comment last night, that was the point I was making exactly. I watched the whole match. To hear the bull out of Varna is what really upset me. He's just not the person for Liverpool. That meme guy said, as you said, Craig, he threw a game against Palace and yet we couldn't beat Galatasaray and we got owned by PSV at home. Yeah, it's nuts. Like, let's not forget we lost 3 games in a row by 3 goals. 3-0, 3-0, 4-1. We can't just forget that. And even now, when we're in this unbeaten run of 6, it just reminds me of the start of the season, where very grateful for the results, but it wasn't convincing. And it's still not convincing now. Like, the Spurs game could have easily ended up at 2-2. The Brighton game, they had a higher XG than us, and if they had their shooting boots on, that could have gone differently as well. So I'm just not seeing any convincing displays in a dominance to which he thinks his style of football can lead to. Because it's not incisive. It's side to side, and hope for the gap to eventually come. Whereas, and I know I'm simplifying this drastically, but it ain't rocket science to press high up the pitch, and if you win the ball, you've got a shorter distance to the opponent's goal. You know, that isn't rocket science. And if done correctly, it causes all sorts of problems. It makes the pitch condensed. You can control it. You can limit the areas of action. You can make sure that a team either has to play such an unbelievably high quality, press resistant way of getting outside your press to play through it. And yes, that might give up a chance. Or they're going to be forced to just go long, at which case you're going to recover the ball and go again. The fact he's gone away from that identity angers me more than I can say, because I don't buy for a second that we don't have the players with the legs to do it. I think Ekitike, Wirtz, Soboslai, all of them can press from the front and would. I just think his philosophy is bullshit, quite simply. And it's taken away our identity. And look, he's entitled to come up with his own identity. But that identity is not one that anybody can describe or put their finger on. It doesn't feel like we're going out with a clear game plan. I'm sure there's tactics. I'm sure there's small little things like if the keeper's passing it out, make sure you show them to this side because you prefer this centre-back to have the ball versus this centre-back. I'm sure you want them to funnel the ball in one direction. Things like that, yes. But we've been outwitted by Glasner on numerous occasions. We've been outthought by so many coaches. And we start games way too slowly. All of these things are really, really, to me, down to a lack of proper motivation. Stephen Bosworth, thank you for upgrading your membership, mate. To Anfield Agenda Ultras, appreciate you. Craig, am I wrong? Are Liverpool trying an experiment with his management? I believe he's trying to play some of the Dutch football in the Premier League. I'm just baffled what he's done to Klopp's football style. So, I think he doesn't have the freedom that a Jurgen had. Understandably, because Jurgen was deserving of the power he had. But the signings that have been brought in, whoever made them, and I'm sure Arne had an input into them to some extent, he looks like he doesn't know what to do with them. And he doesn't know how to set them up. And he doesn't know what he was going to do instinctively when they came in. Like, how many different positions has Wirtz, the guy who was told he was going to play in the 10, played? Did it ever look like we had a plan to get Ekitike and Isak to both gel? There's so many things that I just don't get with what he's doing. And I think he's just getting away with it at the minute. Rather than being convincing and winning games of football, I think we're just getting away with it. Waddy said, Merry Christmas, lad, to the AA family and all who watch AA. Have a great one, each and all. Thank you, and same to you, my friend. For a club of our size, are we too accepting of mediocrity? Yes and no. I'll say no, because I do think a good, and this is to their credit, a good number of Liverpool fans are, I'm not going to say humble, but respectful and aren't brash and arrogant. And I love that and respect that. I'm somebody who likes to play with a swagger and see our team play with a swagger as champions. And to come into this season and be so far off defending our title is an embarrassment. And the journalists covering how it's unfolded, a lot of them are an embarrassment. And the revisiting of what the plans were, the stands were, the ambitions were, is an embarrassment. Like, we were supposed to dominate. That was the plan. Not to scrape our way into the top 4, to throw away a League Cup competition. It just, I don't know. I don't think he's going to last the pace at Liverpool. I think he's going to come unstuck. And I think last season was a perfect storm. And that felt like more of an anomaly than this season. This season feels like he's getting a chance to put his stamp on it and he hasn't got a Scooby-Doo what to do with it. But a lot of our fans, how do I say this? Because again, I want to be respectful because they don't do it in a bad way. I think a lot of our fans are too accepting of excuses from some at the club. Some of it comes from a place of respect and wanting to support a manager and the team, and that's commendable. But there's nothing wrong with thinking we've spent a lot of money. We've won the league. Like, Liverpool didn't become the most successful team in English football by taking gaps and resting on their laurels or having brief periods of success here or there. The plan was to dominate. The plan was that we smelt blood in the water with City weakening somewhat, the Chargers and Pep's future up in the air, Arsenal being perennial runners-up, Chelsea building something for the future. This was the moment that Liverpool were supposed to strike the fear of God into everybody else with the signings we made, and that we were going to have our era. And again, our title defence has fallen apart very quickly. And I find that embarrassing. And I find the accepting of it even more embarrassing. Because we were told we weren't going to be thrown away cup competitions. We were told that there wasn't going to be more situations like Plymouth where we had to put out weakened teams. It's the revisionism that is just embarrassing at this point. And those that excuse this in the media and try to make out like it's somehow credible or ethical, it's just bullshit. Do you think he'll throw the FA Cup as well? Depends. The thing depends on the squad size, availability. Like, it's Barnsley at home. It should be, it should be a straightforward one anyway. We've gotten so bad in defence that midfield, we literally dread a 2-0 scoreline. In today's season, it's gotten that bad that we think now we can bottle a 2-0 lead. That is crazy, isn't it? Like, how are we so nervy at 2-0? And how have we allowed so many times to be pegged back from 2-0? One of the things that we commended Arne for last season was his halftime changes that won us a lot of games. This season, I'm not seeing anywhere near the same impacts at halftime. And his in-game management, I just find baffling at times. And his fawning over some opposition managers, I find embarrassing. Look, in a long-winded way, what I'm basically trying to say is, when it gets to a point people are calling for the manager, and I'm not talking about one or two, I'm talking about swathes of the fan base. All I see right now is that we're in the eye of the storm. And it's quiet, and it's peaceful, and we're picking up some results. But I don't believe the storm is over. And I think as soon as the next couple of losses happen again, everything's going to come round again. Because there's not many times a manager that's gotten that close to fully losing a fan base has rescued it properly. And I also don't think that, despite what is written, that there is a connection to the manager and the fan base that some like to believe is there, because I don't think it is. There's a respect that any Liverpool manager can and would get. There was a gratitude for a league title that was won. But I don't think that there was a connection in any way that really Liverpool fans connect and love Arne. I just don't get that sense from the people I speak to, from my own take with it. Despite what others try to push and what narrative they try to push. Like, let me give you a perfect example of what I'm trying to say. Bear with me. This. From James Pearce, the thing I keep going on about. This is it for me. Those with short memories and little patience who were calling for change have been muted as Slot has breathed new life into a managerial reign which had veered so alarmingly off course. Does anybody agree with that statement? That those with short memories... Who are these people with short memories? Does James think that people don't remember we won the league last year? Or does he think that people aren't happy that Arsenal won the league last year? But he's breathed new life into fuck all. He's just done the bare bitch minimum of winning some games of football we should be winning. And what James seems to forget with his short memory is the generationally bad results and run of results that this manager overseen this season. So I don't think it's us as fans that have short memories. I think it's those who are depending on the relationship with the club for an existence that have short memories. Because when you're going through the worst run of results and the first time in your history that certain things have happened, I don't think people are not within their rights to question what the fuck is going on there. And why is it always that these people want to one-up themselves? Those with short memories. How about just fans that were sick of seeing what they were seeing? And fans that knew we were better than the results that we were getting on the pitch and the performances. Same as the Echo and their boys writing some sections of the online Liverpool fan base, because they love to differentiate. They love to talk about the real fans, you know, the ones that are in the in-camp, the super fans, the top reds, and the rest of us can get to fuck. The whole thing just strikes of nonsense to me. And every Liverpool fan were perfectly within their rights to think that this season's been unacceptable so far. Because it's been unacceptable. So, rather than that level of mealy-mouthed bullshit, a bit more reality and a bit more honesty is required. Nobody's been silenced. No one's been muted. No new life has been breathed into anything. He's won games of football during what was, by Opta's words, the easiest run of fixtures of the year. But even in that run, we still were beaten by Palace. We still were beaten by PSV Eindhoven. We still drew away at Leeds. So, again, no new life being breathed into fucking anything. Robin said, I respect him, but I don't think he's right for the future of the club. I've never called for the sack of any of our managers. What did you say, Craig? I forgot. About what? What did I say about what? When Arna came in, I said plenty of positive stuff, supported him, defended him against people who were saying he was going to be a sacrificial lamb. But like I've said, my opinions are fluid like everything else. And as I've gotten to see more and know more of the manager, I've not liked a lot of it. I've not liked the going to a beat at the end of last season. I've not liked the finishing the season with the results we did. I've not liked going out and losing the League Cup final to Newcastle so convincingly. There's been a load of stuff that I just think is not the right mentality for our type of club. We celebrated that league title like we don't think we'll ever win another league title. Not like we're a team who won it because that's what Liverpool do. Now let's go do it again. Let's create that dynasty. Look at the great teams of Liverpool history. They didn't just win a league title and then go party and celebrate and have long summers. No, they put their trophies and their medals in the drawer and said, let's go again next season. I want another one. That's what this football club is about. That's what it's always been about. Any accepting of mediocrity is just, it's not right. Nobody would ever shed a tear if he left. Arna, look, if Arna left, he would deserve and should get a huge thank you for delivering a league title. That's always going to be respected, and he'll always go down in Liverpool folklore and history as a man that delivered a league title. No question about that. I just don't think he will really connect in the same way, because I don't know. I don't see that connection. Just in case you finish before I get a chance to say a happy Christmas to you and your family, Craig. Thank you. You've made this year special for me, mate. You've no idea what you've done. Same way with you and me, mate. It's been an absolute honour to be on here in 2026 with you all. And do you know what else has been a lovely thing? I've enjoyed so much seeing Connor grow in front of the camera, and develop his own style and his own wit and his own segment each morning. I'm so proud of him for doing that, because he never wanted to be a front of camera person, but he's done so well. And I love the comments you all leave for him, and I love the support you give him, and I love that he's comfortable doing it. And look, at this time of the year, I'm always very reflectful, and it's been a pleasure getting to know Connor as a person. I think of him like a little brother at this point, and I'm so proud of him, everything he's done, and how much he stands by me, even in difficult moments. He's a truly special young man, and I want to just highlight that, because a lot of the times I get the attaboys and the pat on the backs, and I'm asked for the photos, but I wouldn't have any of this without his hard work and dedication. And I just want him to know I love him and what that means to me, and we think of him as part of our family here. And whatever else does happen in the future, that will always be the case. Connor must be used to the cameras by now. I think he is. Look, I think he's really good at it, and I think the podcast is helping a lot as well, as he comes along. What's my favourite ever Liverpool game? It's the Barcelona one. It should be Istanbul, but it's that Barcelona 4-0, because that was the whole day and the way that came about. I spoke to Connor in the morning. Well, no, that's a lie. I don't do mornings. I spoke to Connor in the early afternoon, and I said to him, "What do you think about tonight, mate?" And we both kind of came to the conclusion that it was really unlucky or unlikely, but that there was something in the air. There was something untangible or intangible that just, we couldn't rule out the impossible was possible. And then we got to the pitch, and Salah had his Never Give Up t-shirt on. And as soon as that first goal went in, I had no doubt in my mind that something special was about to happen that night. And I don't know if I'll ever be happier watching a game of football than I was that day, that night. To share it with you guys was incredible. It's everything football is. It's everything football could and should be, that game. Back from the dead. It had the vengeance against some of your former players who left for other teams. You had the greatest player to lace up a pair of boots, humbled Messi. It just had everything. It had the Anfield magic, the folklore, the against the odds without having the likes of a Salah and a Firmino, and Robbo, I think, went off. It was just so epic. Epic. The every time I watch it back, even now, the corner taken quickly, I fully expect the ref to make him take it again and say it was too quick. The whole lot of it, it was just perfect, beautiful. So that's for me the best game. Maybe you already said it, but how good are the chances for Adeyemi to Liverpool? I couldn't tell you, because I don't have any information on it that I'm aware of. But at 20 million quid, if Liverpool are interested, and again, I don't know anything on this. It's Patrick Berger in the source on this one. 20 million quid. You know, it wouldn't be a huge outlay for a potentially good player. Craig, I went back to your match reaction video after the 3-1 loss to Madrid and Kiev. Were you calm because of the fact you were barely starting YouTube, or was it just a bad feeling for Karius? It's a tough one when you lose the Champions League final, because you've seen your team get to the pinnacle. You've seen Salah go off with an injury that was shithoused. You'd seen the Karius situation. You'd seen the amazing goals from Bale. And I knew there was more to come. I knew that wasn't a once-off, and that was going to be the end of us. I knew that under Jurgen we were going to have more of those, and that our day would come and our time would come to get that European Cup again. So that's probably why I was a bit more calm about it at the time. Yeah, I just knew it wasn't a once-off kind of thing. So, talking about videos going back, I often go back and watch the thank you and goodbye video that's up on the channel. And it's the video I get asked the most why I haven't taken it down. Because obviously I'm in tears in it and I'm not in a good way mentally. But I leave it up because I think it's important that people can see where I was and that I'm still sitting here now. And I leave it up because I want people to know that it was you guys that took me from that place where I was giving up and saying goodbye. And it was your support that rebuilt me day by day, brick by brick, bit of confidence by bit of confidence to be here now. And that's the video I'm probably most proud of that's up on the channel, because it showed me that I could be vulnerable and not be judged by those whose opinion I care about. What do you think about comments that we're having problems getting players to sign recently because of slot? Honestly, I've not seen or read anything of that, but it wouldn't surprise me at all. Oh, this is a lovely comment. I want to bring this up on screen. David said, bring your family to the circus as my guests over Christmas. Contact me. Merry Christmas. Oh, David, that's so kind of you, mate. I don't know how to contact you, though. So, how can I do this? I'm trying to figure out a way. Can you email me, Mr. Duffy? If you can just email contact@AnfieldAgenda.com, I'll tell Connor to look out for the email. Because apart from the circus thing, man, I'd just love to meet you and say thank you. And who doesn't love the circus as well? That would be cool. But yeah, please do send us an email, mate. Contact@AnfieldAgenda.com, and I'll make sure that Connor reaches out to me, because yeah, be lovely to meet you more than anything, man. Circus aside, it'd just be incredible to meet you and say hello. Right, I'm going to start winding this one down, because it's getting close to Christmas time now. Just one more time before I finish up. If you can, it will mean the world to me to help us get the €3,500 we need for this young man to get to the European Championships and to represent Ireland, because I know he's going to bring back the gold. So if you can make a small donation to the GoFundMe, scan that QR code and help make that young man's dreams come true, and we'll get him over there and get his gold. You will see this young man in the UFC in the future, and you will know that you were a part of his journey and that you helped him live those dreams. And that's what life's about, isn't it? You know, chasing your dreams. And I want that young man to chase his. So look, I love you all. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for everything, for all of it. Thank you for the future. Thank you for the past. Thank you for now. I'll see you tomorrow at some point for a Christmas night stream. Whatever you're up to tomorrow, have an incredible day with your families, whether you celebrate Christmas or not. I hope you have a lovely few days ahead, filled full of happiness, love, laughter, reflection, too much food, and whatever else you do to enjoy yourselves. I'll see you at some point tomorrow. And yeah, love you all dearly. Couldn't mean that